What if we told you becoming a billionaire isn't just for the young or those born with a silver spoon? That even middle-aged regular people can turn ambitious ideas into billions. Sounds interesting, right? Well, in this video, we'll look at 3 inspirational tales of perseverance from billionaires who turned failure into fortune in their later years. From the rags to retail giant story of Walmart founder Sam Walton to oil mogul Harold Hamm's path from poverty to untold riches to fashion icon Ralph Lauren building a global empire around aspirational clothing. These remarkable journeys show it's never too late to completely transform your financial destiny. While exceptional, these billionaire stories offer inspiring lessons for accomplishing life-changing success after 40. Let's dive into how these determined icons struck gold in the second half of life. On number 1, we have Sam Walton. He shows us that it's never too late to turn your big idea into billions. He didn't build the retailing giant Walmart until he was 44 years old. Prior to deciding to launch his own retail store, Sam spent 17 years working as a management trainee and regional manager for Ben Franklin stores. Though he was successful, he was itching to start something of his own. His dream, to buy big city discounting convenience to small rural towns ignored by the major retail chains. When Sam finally took the leap in 1962, he was no fresh-faced 20-something with boundless energy. He was a 44-year-old husband and father who had to mortgage his house and pool his life savings just to secure the $25,000 loan he needed to open the first Walmart in Rogers, Arkansas. It was a struggle in those early years. Sam had to work endless hours doing everything from handling inventory, working the cash register, and sweeping the floors. It wasn't until the 3rd year that Walmart finally turned a profit. But Sam persevered through those tough early years with unwavering persistence. He steadily grew his company by sticking to a simple yet powerful concept: sell quality products at low prices. By the late 1960s, Walmart expanded into multiple locations and became a multi-million-dollar company. Yet Sam didn't stop there. He continued to innovate, adopting emerging technologies to transform retail. Walmart was an early adopter of barcode scanners and sophisticated inventory tracking systems, key innovations that enabled the kind of massive selection and efficiency customers expect today. Sam also pioneered many business practices we now take for granted, from just-in-time manufacturing to data-driven marketing. He was also an early advocate for sustainability efforts like recycling. With Sam's relentless vision, Walmart experienced stratospheric growth year after year. By 1985, 23 years after launch, Sam grew Walmart into a billion-dollar company with over 800 locations. His net worth eventually peaked around $100 billion, making him one of the wealthiest men in history. The rise of Walmart is an inspirational tale that proves the American dream is alive at any age. Sam was no wunderkind. He was a regular guy who didn't let middle age stop him from bringing his big idea to life. Yet Sam can go from one tiny shop in small town Arkansas to building the largest company in the world. It shows that entrepreneurial success knows no bounds when it comes to age. With enough persistence and savvy business sense, we can accomplish amazing things later in life too. Sam Walton proves retail riches know no age limits, but what about striking it big in the oil fields? Well, fellow late bloomer Harold Hamm drilled his way into the billionaire ranks after 40 as well. What do oil and vinegar have in common? Well, just as vinegar's best poured over salad, oil magnate Harold Hamm likes drilling wells in the Beacon Salad Bowl oil fields of North Dakota and Montana. We typically think of oil tycoons as either born into wealth or earning their riches early on as young wildcatters. But Harold's story flies in the face of conventional wisdom. Unlike your typical billionaire, Harold came from humble roots. He was the last of 13 children born to Oklahoma cotton sharecroppers. With little family wealth and fewer opportunities waiting for him, Harold became determined from a young age to break out of poverty. Harold started working at gas stations at 16 to support his family. He attended college locally while working full-time. When he wasn't studying or manning the pumps, Harold would pore over geology textbooks, fascinated by what riches lay beneath the Earth's surface. Years later, in his mid-20s, newly married and a young father, Harold took a risk. He left his steady job and used his meager savings to lease a few land wells. Unfortunately, early drilling attempts proved fruitless. Depths mounted and prospects looked dire until Harold finally hit his first pocket of oil at 26. A modest well, small enough to wipe his debts, but not enough to get rich. Over the next 15 tumultuous years, Harold slowly built his one-man operation to a respectable regional oil company. But the huge break that would catapult him into billions still eluded him. Then at age 42, Harold drilled a test well in North Dakota that would change his fortune forever, while other oil companies ignored North Dakota's remote Bakken area. Harold saw untapped potential. His pioneering use of horizontal fracturing unlocked billions of barrels of previously trapped shale oil. Almost overnight, Harold struck black gold. That tiny North Dakota outpost transformed into one of the most bountiful oil fields in American history. A billion-dollar salad bowl gushing with crude. Cash flow soared as Harold secured drilling rights across hundreds of thousands of acres. Today, his company, Continental Resources, operates over 1,000 wells, produces over 300,000 barrels daily, and has helped cement America's energy independence for decades to come. Harold's net worth now tops $20 billion, making him one of the richest self-made men on Earth. More importantly, Harold created over 1,000 new millionaires, ordinary North Dakotans who became shillionaires off royalty rights to drilling on their land. Harold Ham's rise from rags to oil riches show it's never too late to change our stars. Who knows what untapped potential lies within and what riches await for those bold enough to dig deep and tap it, whether at 20, 40, or beyond. When opportunity beckons, age ain't nothing but a number. We've seen how Sam Walton and Harold Ham built billion-dollar empires in retail and oil after turning 40. Now let's shift our gaze from shirts and crude to haute couture. Meet fashion icon Ralph Lauren, the original rags to riches designer who epitomized accessible luxury. Before names like Giorgio Armani and Calvin Klein graced designer labels, Ralph Lauren defined high-end fashion for millions worldwide. But unlike most designers, Ralph didn't sketch his first clothing line until his late 20s and didn't achieve success until his 40s. Both Ralph Lipschitz to immigrant parents in the Bronx, young Ralph grew up in poverty as the son of a house painter. At only 12 years old, he started working jobs to help the family make ends meet. Despite growing up poor, Ralph had rich dreams and admired the extravagant clothing he glimpsed worn by a handful of wealthy socialite customers at the tie shop where he worked. He aspired for style to transcend class and become attainable luxury anyone could wear. Though Ralph had no design experience or fashion education, he had creativity and hustle in spades. At 28, he designed a wide European-style tie unlike narrow ties popular back then. With pluck and persuasiveness, Ralph convinced the tie company he worked for to manufacture his design. When Bloomingdale's bought the entire production run, Ralph knew he had a winning idea. Buoyed by early success, Ralph soon quit his job and founded his own tie company. Living on one suit and using rags as material, Ralph taught himself to sew ties and sold them door to door to clothers. Within years, Ralph expanded from ties into signature polo shirts worn by elite country clubs. As business boomed in the 60s, his fledgling company graced the best-dressed list of fashion aficionados. When Ralph reached 40, he was still a relative unknown player compared to fashion stalwarts like Dior and Chanel. That all changed when Ralph took the greatest risk of his career. At 42 years old, Ralph leveraged everything into a make-or-break fall fashion launch. His first complete menswear line debuted at a Manhattan boutique in flooding rain. Yet, despite the diluvian weather, fashion elite clamored over Ralph's designs, and the entire stock sold out opening night. Riding high from that breakout success, Lauren spent years honing his signature accessible luxury style married with masterful branding. Soon, Ralph's pony logo became ubiquitous as the epitome of aspirational lifestyle clothing, the catalyst which transformed humble Ralph Lipschitz into Ralph Lauren, one of the most recognizable luxury brands ever valued today, around $6 billion. Ralph's journey highlights how self-made success isn't predicted on early achievement, but on cultivating our creativity. Even if money was tight growing up, we can still dream big and manifest those visions later in life through tenacious drive. Thanks to Ralph, everyday luxury is now always in style. And there you have it, proof positive that billion-dollar success can bloom at any age. Sam, Harold, and Ralph built empires with vision, drive, and perseverance even as 40-somethings. It goes to show you're never too old to make your mark. So, what billion-dollar idea is waiting inside you? Share your thoughts, questions, and own against the odds success stories in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more inspirational tales.